Hey guys, thanks for your patience. Here's the video on photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Your first main idea is, what is photosynthesis? It's the process in which plants make food by converting sunlight into energy in the chloroplast, and it produces oxygen. Below is the chemical equation for photosynthesis. I request that you write it the exact way I did, because if you didn't, it would be wrong. Please make sure that these little numbers are written as little numbers. Your chemical formula is 6CO2 plus 6H2O yields or produces C6H12O6 plus 6O2. If you need to finish writing this slide, please pause now. What is this process? So there are two steps to photosynthesis: the light-dependent reactions and the light-independent reactions. The light-dependent reactions require light, they are dependent on it, and light-independent reactions do not require light, they are independent. So the first step, the light-dependent reactions, occurs during the daytime, and the light-independent reactions can occur during the day or at night. Light-dependent reactions, part 1. So the sunlight is taken in by the plant through the chloroplast, and the sunlight is then converted into energy in the form of ATP and NADPH. ATP and NADPH are forms of energy. All I want you to know is the abbreviations for now. I'm not going to be diving into the actual molecules. If you need more time, go ahead and pause and finish writing this slide. So before we get into the second part of photosynthesis, we need to talk about parts of the chloroplast. The first part of the chloroplast that you need to be aware of is called the thylakoids. They're flattened sac-like membranes that are arranged in stacks called grana, and this is where the light-dependent reactions take place. The stroma is a fluid-filled space outside the grana, and this is where the light-independent reactions take place. So you should know what those two places are and what happens in each of those places. Here's a picture of a chloroplast, and these green discs here are your thylakoids. They are in stacks called grana, and after the light reactions take place, NADPH and ATP go out into the stroma, and they go through the light-independent reactions. So the light-independent reactions, part 2, is also known as the Calvin cycle. This is where NADPH and ATP are in unstable forms, and so they are converted into a more stable form of energy. It goes through 4 steps to convert it to a more stable form called glucose. Go ahead and pause now if you need a moment to write down this information. There are 4 steps, so we're not going to go in depth into what the steps are, so please just write these down and be slightly familiar with them. Step 1 is carbon fixation. Step 2 is reduction. Step 3 is the release of one molecule of G3P. And step 4 is the regeneration of RUBP. That U should be lowercase. G3P and RUBP are just are molecules. I'm not worried about going into detail. I just wanted you to be aware of the 4 steps of the light-independent reactions. So what happens after photosynthesis? Plants can use the sugars or glucose formed during the Calvin cycle to grow, and glucose is also passed on to other animals when they eat it. Please pause if you need to finish writing. We are now moving on to cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a process in which organisms obtain energy from food. Below is the chemical equation. Please write it exactly as I have. The chemical equation is C6H12O6 plus 6O2 yields or produces 6CO2 plus 6H2O. Notice that it is the reverse of the photosynthesis reaction. This cellular respiration takes place mostly in the mitochondria. If you need to pause, go ahead and do so you can finish writing. There are 4 steps that you should be slightly familiar with for cellular respiration. Again, I am not going in depth to each of the steps. The first step is glycolysis, where glucose is broken apart. Step 2 is the pyruvate oxidation. Carbon dioxide is released. Step 3 is the citric acid cycle. A 4-carbon sugar is produced and carbon dioxide is released. And step 4 is the electron transport chain, where 2 hydrogens attach to oxygen to make water. Go ahead and pause if you need to, so you can go ahead and finish the slide. Here's a picture of what cellular respiration looks like. It takes place in the mitochondria. Step 1, glycolysis, happens outside the mitochondria, and then it moves into the mitochondria, and it goes through step 2, then the citric acid cycle, and then finally the electron transport chain. And last but not least, the other important things that you should be aware of: cellular respiration occurs twice for every 1 glucose molecule. The chemical equations for photosynthesis and cellular respiration are the reverse of each other. They depend on each other, and both processes can occur at the same time. Thank you so much for your patience with me getting this video up. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions before or after class. Bye. Oh, one more thing. These are pictures that can help you with your foldable project. Here's a picture of photosynthesis, a picture of cellular respiration in an animal, and a picture of cellular respiration in a leaf. So let those help you with drawing your pictures for your foldable. Have a good day.